to a player of immense determination on and off the table. He showed his class yesterday to take the last 2 frames of the session, bidding for a 14th appearance in the last 16. Multiple ranking event winner. He's flying. He's the captain. He's Ali Carter. Finally, to the most successful player in history, 5 frames away from a record-extending 29th appearance in the second round. After a 3-month break, he's back, and he's on the biggest stage of all. 7 times a champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Thank you now. Thank you. The 10th frame. Ali Carter to break.
Yes, thank you, Seema. What a second session this promises to be. And of course, always great to be sat next to 7 times champion of the world, Stephen Hendry, to cast his expert eye over proceedings. And it's, when we talk about the pressure on Ronnie, you feel it when he walks in the arena, the ovation he gets, the expectancy that he's put on his shoulders. But he's got to produce today. As I say, I didn't think his long potting was up to scratch. I think he needs a bit more, Stephen.
Yeah, it was a kind of subdued performance in a way, which, you know, judging by the interviews he was given before about, you know, it was really sort of deflecting everything, all pressure away from himself, saying he didn't expect to do a lot in this championship. But there is always, from everyone else, huge expectation on Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ali Carter won't be gaining any good vibes from that effort. Yeah, it was kind of building up nicely, wasn't it, at the end of the session? You didn't want it to end yesterday, did you?
No, and I always feel with the first session, when it's sort of 3 each or something like that, both players have one eye on the second session, don't they? You know, the business end of it.
Thank you.
Because, as we say, and it's an old cliche, you can't lose it or you can't win it in the first session, but you can go a long way to losing it. And that's why when Ali was 5-2 behind to close the gap to 5-4, he'd have come out, I feel, the happier of the two.
Six. Yeah, sure.
There's the high brace, funny enough, both made 107. That was the highlight of that first session. And as you said, Stephen, when Ronnie's in amongst the balls, it seems like business as usual. It was just his long game that was concerning.
Cheers. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, funny enough, yeah, the last couple of frames, he did pot a couple of really nice long balls yesterday at the end. Like it took him a while to sort of find that range. In the beginning, he seemed to be slightly over-hitting the long balls in the beginning.
12.
Not the best opportunity this at the moment, because you can see where the pink and black are. Not easy to get this break into a position where he can win the frame possibly at this visit.
15.
these sort of situations, when Ronnie's at his best, I love watching him, because a situation where it doesn't look like there's a frame winning break on, he manages to solve the puzzle and create the one visit to win.
So far, so good. Last couple of blues, right in the heart of the pocket.
$90.
Maybe a little bit disappointed with that one, though. Wrong side of the blue.
$24. $25.
Well, it's not great, but it could have been worse. At least he's got the yellow to go at.
$27.
Now, I don't know if he's got the angle. Well, it's maybe too much. I was thinking maybe if he had the angle to screw into the red and pink. Not quite got that angle to do that, so back up the table
28.
again. You always want to err on the side of too far, because obviously if you land short in the blue, it's no good. If you go too far, at least you've always got the bulk colours available. The only reason you'd like to be on the blues with an angle is you could cannon into the pink and just bring that into play. He's going to pick these reds off one by one. That was beautifully struck. It's getting more and more difficult. Cue ball back up the table. There's a little gap here. Got to watch the right middle pocket though. Oh, nicely played. Again, too far in the blue.
Now the red that's in the open above the black. If he can get the perfect, well, it's just not hard enough. I was thinking if he could get the perfect angle, he might be able to play that red, which he's going to have to play now anyway, because the only possible ball. But if it's a right angle, he could have maybe brought the black into play, but now he'll have to go back up for the blue. But another one right in the heart of the pocket. But once again, and we saw this yesterday, just keeps over hitting it, and I can only put it down to the cue. And that's as good as he could have done, but he couldn't avoid putting the cue ball near the cushion. I'll be surprised if he carried on, unless there's a plant somewhere. Obviously you can see a red that can pop, but no value in that. Is there a plant? Well, he made it.
Well, he's already scored more than you would think was on when he came to the table, and it's slowly developing into a chance to win the frame without using the pink or black.
44.
I think already, John, there's a difference in Ronnie's body language compared to yesterday.
Yeah, and I did comment yesterday. It took quite a bit of courage to come out yesterday, because it's well documented the way he's been feeling. And I was just hoping positional shots gone wrong, that having come out yesterday, it have made him feel a bit better about himself. The fact that he did come out and he played reasonably well at times.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 50.
Too far to win the frame at that visit. I mean, it was a very decent 50 break.
Well, that's a ready to expect his support. He's not left anything, but it's a shock to the system. He'll have been on the practice table knocking that home. Well, Ronnie's got to swerve this. And played it really well. And that little bump off the middle has made it even better. So even though Ronnie's got a 50-point lead, he can't afford to give Ali Carter the next chance. Played that nicely. Little tap on the table from Ali. It's been played in very good spirits. There's a lot of talk before this match. Somebody said they hate one another. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Of course they don't. They're competitors. Well, that time, Ali has gone for the red, and this time he's not got away with it. So here's a clear-cut chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan to win the first frame and extend his lead.
Yeah, it's not been a good start to the second session for Ali Carter. He's not really played a good shot. Every time he's come to the table, he's played a bad shot pretty much. He needs to settle down
7.
quickly. Everyone knows how Ronnie can rack up the frames. This match could quickly get out of Ali's hands. As I say, if he doesn't get himself into the game, get himself focused and composed.
Impressive start, though, this from Ronnie.
15.
As I say, it's every snooker player's dream that when they come out and they find in the middle of the pocket with every pot. Okay, he's had it all his own way, but his first break, that contribution
80.
of 50 was excellent considering the pink and black weren't available. Just the start he'd been looking for. Good stuff.
25. 26. 32. 34. 37. 41. $46. $52.
Started off with a break of 50.
On the frame.
And that's second contribution of 59. Kept Ali Carter off the scoreboard. And that's a wonderful start for Ronnie O'Sullivan. 2 clear, 6-4.
Thank you. The 11th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Good break off from Ronnie. I think he's snookered Ali. Oh, is there a gap? There's always a gap. Doesn't think he can hit the red thin enough, so quite easy. Just got to be careful sometimes. You can just slide off the cushions. And that needs to run. Got there.
Touching ball.
Touching ball, so that's handy for Ronnie just to explain the touching ball. Just firing away is deemed to have hit the red, because if he hit the red he was touching, that would be a push shot. You know, the tip of the cue hitting the cue ball and the object ball simultaneously, so allowed to fire away, and as I say, deemed to have hit it. Perfect length.
Yeah, he's got a snooker again, but he shouldn't really give him a chance, Ronnie. I think we'd probably rather let Ali see the bunch of reds and have the cue ball tight in the cushion. Then he'd have to play a shot off the bunch. You wouldn't expect Ali to make a mistake here. Maybe, possibly the green is just blocking the natural angle to go into the side of the reds.
Yeah, and he can't really come down the left-hand side as we look, because there's a possibility he could leave a red on. But that's what he's doing. Got to get into the reds just below the pink here. Don't want to slip by them. It's a bit pacey. It's a bit pacey.
Yeah.
Reds actually pot, so he's going to have to do something here. Brown of 2 cushions into the side of the pack. Oh, just didn't want to. Well, it's worked out perfectly. I was going to say he didn't really want to make contact with the pink there. but I think he's on a red to right corner.
Yeah, had a quick look at it. Looks as though he's on 2. Couldn't wish for better than that.
6.
Yeah, it looks far more alert and up for this afternoon. I think he seems, he's obviously happy he's got that first session, as you were saying, John, that first session out of the way, where he maybe wasn't sure how he was going to play. Looks bang up for this now.
He's lost the cue ball. That will annoy him. Just when you get into a nice flow, careless positional shot.
Yeah, I thought he might be tempted to go into the reds there. It was a big target.
O'Sullivan, 90.
He obviously trusts his cue ball control, as you would, to land on the red. It's got Ali Carter in trouble again. Can maybe just get to a thin edge of the reds.
I'm not quite certain he can get past the yellow without playing a trace of left-hand side. The problem is with left-hand side, if he catches the red, maybe he can. He doesn't have to use side here. He's okay. Plain ball will do the trick. But even then, he caught it much too thick. Much too thick.
He did play it with left-hand side. Checked it. And then played quite aggressive safety shot. That's a risky plan against Ronnie O'Sullivan. You've got to get the good cue ball.
Well,
nice pot and nice result with the cue ball. He could have been hampered, but he can cue through the gap of these 2 reds. Boy, that helps. Well, he can't. He is slightly hampered. But he struck that ever so well.
8. No. $15.
Well, we'd be getting concerned with Ali. We saw him in the seat there. I saw him just after that first session. He looked upbeat, having closed the gap to 1.
22.
But he's shown us nothing so far in the second session.
23. $30.
That's the scoreboard. 49 points the lead. Still looking for three more reds with colours.
36. $37.
So this black, one more red in the cover to get to snooker's required. As we always expect from Ronnie.
40.
Wonderful control of the cue ball. And as you said yesterday, it is like riding a bike for him, even though he's not been playing.
45.
This is where he's at his best, like you say with most players. Having said that, just let that cue ball run loose. But no problem, in goes the black and he's on the next red, which, when he pops, will keep Ali Carter in his seat.
53.
Yeah, he's got a lot to think about, Ali Carter. He's got to do something and do it
60.
quickly.
61. $68. 69.
I wouldn't say it was as pinpoint a cue ball as Ronnie is best, but it's it seems to be improving with every frame that he spends out there.
Yeah, I think when he's playing in around the black and the cue ball's not travelling too much, it's par excellence. But I know what you're saying, when he's been going up for the blue, and we always used to say about Ronnie, that was his great gift. He always got perfect on the blue, but he's overrun it a few times.
85.
But the practice is getting in. You know, it's a funny thing to say, but he'll be getting more and more used to this cue. And he couldn't have wished for a better start than this.
Yeah, and the fact that Ali hasn't played a good shot yet, Ronnie just feeds off opponents' weaknesses. He's the ultimate bully on the snooker table. He won't let up. That's why Ali's got to do something pretty special, actually, and pretty quickly.
99.
Absolutely wonderful. Great builder extraordinaire. 1,284 career centuries. A joy to watch. Wonderful.
117 on the frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
3 frames clear now. 7-4.
Thank you. The 12th frame. Ali Carter to break.
be tempted. This red to the right corner. I don't think he's got a safety off the main cluster. And he's taking it on. These were the ones he struggled with yesterday. And, well, not close with that one. That was his Achilles heel, if you like, yesterday, his long potting. And he's not got it safe. He's left a pot on for Ali. So Ali pot this red. He's not potted a ball so far in this session. So this red, to get off the mark, needs to find position on a colour.
One.
Well, he's got a beautiful angle in the blue if he chooses to go into the pink here. Looks like there's only one red to play for, so I would suggest it's the shot. Be aggressive. Missed the pink completely. Not sure if this red goes past the black. The way Ali's walking around the table.
6.
I think it does, yep, easily so. I wouldn't say it's quite panic stations yet for Ali Carter, but this is a very, very important visit to the table. You've got to show, Ronnie, that you're still up for this. Oh, I think he's been unlucky. I think he's been very unlucky. Okay, I think he might have caught the wrong red.
40.
Into bunch, we'll see it here. Doesn't really want to get the one, the one directly above the black. Didn't want to hit that one. But to not have a single pot, very unfortunate.
Ali Carter 40.
Yeah, having to bite the bullet and play safe, but at least he didn't miss. As I always say, it's a simple thing. If you pot the ball, at least you get to play the next shot. Whereas if he'd have missed, he'd have gone back to his seat feeling a bit bad about himself. But Ronnie there purposely playing that thin than thick to get the cue ball back to ball. But the kiss on the yellow has not made it a good safety shot now. So there's a chance here for Ali. Beautiful cue action, pushes the cue through straight. It's well within his range. As he left it, can Ronnie get past the brown? I think he can. Might have to put a trace of right-hand side on the cue ball. Well, Ronnie's just having a look to see where the black goes, so that tells me he thinks he can pot this red to the left middle. I think he might need a trace of right-hand side.
One.
He's going to be on nothing here. Because the way he was having to play the red into the middle, he couldn't really avoid the kiss on the second red.
Black ball, thank you.
The referee's just said touching ball, nominate your colour. He'll nominate black, which he has done. And as I say, with the touching red before, firing away, he's deemed to have hit the black. Bit of a weak
Ronnie
safety,
O'Sullivan,
it has to be said. He was looking for the ball cushion. Only just got past the ball line. May not have left anything, but once you leave your opponent with his hand on the table at this level, you fully expect him to play a better shot than that.
turn out okay for Ronnie. Ali fancies taking this long red on. If he doesn't get it, maybe one of those situations where you play a poor safety shot, but you still get an opening. That's a fantastic shot. Couldn't have cued that any better. Not out of the woods yet though. This black is not a certainty, especially when you're 7-4 behind. In the end,
Ali Carter won.
Pressure was too much for Ali to pot that black.
Yeah, if you're an Ali Carter supporter, that would be very concerning. Didn't even get in the jaws. And as I say, normally a great technique, Ali. But he's been let off. I was just thinking, Stephen, one of Ali's weaknesses, and it always has been, is his temperament. Missing these shots like he's doing, it won't be helping him psychologically.
Yeah, you just end up trying too hard as well. You've seen Ronnie win the first 2 frames, you're 3 behind, you're desperate to get into the session. It's so intimidating to play against Ronnie O'Sullivan because he accumulates frames so quickly. They wouldn't mind maybe 5-10 minutes of safety play just to sort of take the sting out of the match a little bit.
Yeah, it was a tough shot, that. As you saw, when he was just off the cushion striking down, he was putting the left-hand side on the cue ball. And didn't catch it right. Could have caught the blue full in the face, and Ali would have had an easier pot than this, but it's a pot, it's a chance. You said, Stephen, last time I was at the table it was an important visit. I think it's even more important now.
Yeah, and I always think with these important visits to the table, breaks you have to make, if a player's going to miss a pot, it's normally in the first 3 or 4 pots. If they can get through that stage, then you start to feel a bit better. You get into a rhythm.
Six.
Played that quite nicely. He's on the black, I'm sure that's the colour he'll be taking, unless the pink's straight enough to be able to just screw across and leave a red to left corner. But if the last time he was at the table was a half chance, this is a real chance to win the frame. Has to take it, you feel.
12. $13.
Now an opportunity to get the black on its spot. I think you'd have played it before, but
90.
if you have a decision to make, passing a ball and not having to use a cushion for position, you prefer that. But this time I don't think there'll be any hesitation. Play for the black, get it on its spot.
Cheers, Alan. Thank you. You got it, yeah. 20.
Not going to need the 2 reds, you know, the left cushion, as long as he pots the other 5 with colours that are all in the open. So it's just a matter of composure here and just keeping control of that cue ball.
27. $28.
That's not the best shot he's ever played. The cue ball's far enough away from the cushion, but this needs hitting properly. Yeah, it wasn't the best shot to leave himself on the black. He shouldn't have been
28.
that close to the side cushion, and he'll be furious, Ali Carter. I'm just wondering, not taking advantage of that. Well, that cost him this match in the end. It was a huge visit to the table.
What?
Yeah, this shot here should have been much further away from the right cushion with the cue ball. And that's the thing in top class snooker, John, isn't it? To be able to control the cue ball under the most extreme pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a little bit of tension in the arm, but you've still got to control it. And as Stephen said, the problem was, if it had been further away from the cushion, he could have got his hand on the table. That black was unmissable. Nice cannon there from Ronnie. Of course, the big problem for him will be those 2 reds
60.
near the left-hand side cushion. So it's not a formality, this, but what a big visit this is for Ronnie. I'm certain he was sat in his seat a few moments ago thinking, well, this frame has gone. It's alive now.
$23.
But nothing relaxes you or
$24.
gives you confidence, apart from your own plays, when you see your opponent missing blacks off the spot. Has he got the angle to screw the top red off the cushion here? Leave the other one. Oh, he might be on none of them, unless that red squeezes past.
31.
Tight.
Very tight. He's down quick, he thinks it goes, but it's tight.
32.
And of course, that's a big advantage, being able to play it with your left hand, but he's not perfect on this black. A bit of work to do with the cue ball.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay.
39.
Maybe a little bit closer to the cushion, but what a shot.
It's just the side cushion making it awkward. Another left-handed pot. In it goes. Nicely on the black. What a steal, and what a frame, and Ali Carter had two great chances, missed two blacks off the spot, and it looks now for all money. It's going to cost him this frame.
Yeah, and he stole a couple of frames yesterday, and this is the thing that if he was a little bit match rusty,
47.
you know, stealing frames is sometimes the last thing that comes back. Or it's the
49.
If you do it, it's the one thing that makes you feel good about your game in matches. This will make him feel better than the century break
52.
in the last frame.
$56.
Just the blue for 8-4.